This machine will have eyes, ears, and a voice.
This is PVP Television News. Today we are outside County Hall at Llandrindod Wells. The planning officers and county councillors are this afternoon discussing two controversial wind farm planning applications. James Grafton, the chairman of TRAP, is about to make a statement regarding the Waengarno application.
We're here today to show our concern and disapproval for the planning application by Acciona for 400-foot high wind turbines which will tower over the Lara Glyn conservation area. We are confident the planning committee will take heed of their planning officer's advice and reject the application, and note the supporting observations of Selby Martin, who will be speaking on behalf of both TRAP and STAG. I want to make it clear, our group is not anti-green. On the contrary, we encourage green energy, but wind farms have a long track record of performing at 30% below forecast output. TRAP cares about the countryside. Wind farms and the green energy agenda will increase our electricity bills across the country by 25%. By not building them, we will save 45 billion.
No wind farms! No wind farms! No Highlands! No wind farms!
Out of date! Turn 8 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 out of date!
Press and official officers of Powys County Council are expecting a large turnout of protesters here today. They will be able to sit in the public gallery. This planning application can be viewed by the general public via webcam, which can be seen on the County Council website.
We move to 4 planning applications for decision by the committee. 4.1, we begin with application number P 2008-0532. To my knowledge, we have 3 public speakers, and the usual fashion in which we take these matters is that I will ask the officer, that's Tom O'Connor, to outline the case. Then we will go to public speaking, and then I will ask him to take us through the body of his report before I then open it out for members for discussion and indeed determination. So I will ask Tom, please, to just outline the case for us briefly to begin with. Thank you.
The development is located across the southern boundary of Strategic Search Area B as defined by 10.8. with a forested upland to the northwest of Carno. To the north is the existing Carno 1 and 2 wind farms and the proposed site for the Carno 3 extension, which is currently under consideration. Located approximately a kilometre to the south of the site, below the ridge, is the small village of Lara Glyn, designated as a conservation area, which is in itself located within the wider Llandrindod Valley historic landscape. This application will be determined in accordance with policy. The policies which are relevant to this are the UK National Policy Statements, EN1, EN3, Welsh Policy, Planning Policy Wales, and the UDP policies, primarily E3. Thank you.
As I said, we have 3 speakers, and to begin we have Councillor Michael Breeze-Davis, who is the Chairman of Treveglos Community Council, and I have this morning received communication from the Community Council to say that there were certain inaccuracies within the report. If you would like, sir, perhaps you might like to highlight on whatever inaccuracies you believe there to be in your presentation.
Going to what your Chairman has just indicated, the inaccuracy of various paragraphs in your report, I am referring to page 7, item 3.4. Now, I'm not sure whether that's been updated today. I only saw this report last Thursday, and we had a council meeting on Friday evening and discussed it. And I have to say to you, ladies and gentlemen, councillors, we are extremely annoyed and concerned that the report published last week, Waengarno Wind Application P/2008-0532, has errors implicated in the council. In the report, as I said, page 7, item 3.4, it states as follows: Treveglos Community Council raised the possibilities of a conflict of interest in respect of voting for this application if community benefits were to be forthcoming. This is completely 100% incorrect. There is no way our council or myself would put financial gain as priority in discussing a planning application. That statement had nothing to do with this application, but a future questionnaire from Powys County Council re how the funds from wind farms in general could be distributed. Acciona at that time said it wanted to deal with local community councils direct. That is why we stated there might be a conflict of interest until such time a policy was created by your council for Mid Wales. Okay? Moving forward to the application this afternoon by Acciona for the wind farm at Waengarno. We at Treveglos Community Council held an emergency meeting last Friday evening, the 2nd of March, and discussed the evolving situation, both local and within the county, of wind farms. The Community Council agreed that it would rescind its original vote of support in light of further developments and deepening concerns related to wind farms and this particular wind farm planning application. Therefore, the Council has now voted again, and it was unanimously agreed to strongly object to the above wind farm development going ahead. We did vote to support this wind farm in 2008. But as you will all appreciate, there has been a huge amount of information forthcoming in the last 4 years, let alone the volume of applications for wind farms and the infrastructure that goes with wind farms that have obviously has now been made public. The Council has various concerns such as the water courses, water supply for the current well owners, but the main concerns are the transportation route for power, pylons, and avoiding the destruction of our magnificent countryside, which is so important for the area's tourism, business and sustainability. We don't, in Treveglos and the Trannon Valley, we don't have steam trains, we don't have posh hotels. But for you and those of you who either live in the Trannon Valley or know the Treveglos-Llanrydod and our area in general, you will, I'm sure, agree with me, it is an absolutely magnificent area of countryside. And it is that area of countryside which sells our valley, okay? And because it is so magnificent, that is why we get tourism. Tourism supports virtually all our local industry, and as a result, many of our local businesses have invested tens of thousands of pounds towards the tourism infrastructure of our valley.
I'm chairman of the Save Trannon Moor Action Group, STAG, and I'm grateful for this opportunity to address the committee on Waengarno. We welcome the officer's recommendations, we agree entirely with them, and urge you to refuse the application. A few additional comments. Paragraph 1.2 of the agenda paper is not strictly true when it states that the development site is located principally within Strategic Search Area B. It no longer is. The boundaries were redefined by Arup in 2008. The applicant was told in October 2009 that this proposal is atypical, being both outside the TAN 8 boundary and in an area identified by Arup as unsuitable for wind farm development. The reason? The need to pull back turbines from the edge of valleys so that they are not seen by people below. The edge of the Carno Plateau runs roughly through the Gorskoch forest, and turbines along that ridge and to the south would impact on the Aventrannon Valley and beyond. The two turbines at the eastern end impact on open moorland, the Severn Valley down to Kersous, and many dwellings scattered about the Waen. Two are less than a kilometre away. Then there is the cumulative impact, with 68 turbines on the existing Carno site. Some are 53 metres high, others 80, and now 11 more at 116 metres are proposed. A far more damaging cocktail, all going round at different speeds. And what about the noise? Emitting different sounds, some high, some low, one could say an orchestra of windmills. The existing Carno turbines are already heard by Waen residents in certain conditions. Add two more, bigger and nearer and upwind, the noise would be intolerable over a wide area and a serious threat to health. ETSU R97 guidance on noise is out of date and not fit for purpose. We suggest humbly that the Council should take a much more rigorous approach to noise than that suggested by ETSU. The shortcomings of landscape and visual impact are well documented. The photomontage are also criticised. Independent consultants Capita Simmons conclude that the images are not accurate and give an unrealistic impression, with turbines appearing smaller than would be experienced in real life.
And if I can now hand to our final public speaker for this application, Mr. Neville Thomas. So once you're comfortable and ready, sir, and the red light is switched on, the floor is yours.
I'm comfortable, I will never be ready. Acciona, the applicant, visit its website. It says that it is the biggest wind farm developer in the world. Not one of the, not among the world, not Europe. One then reels in disbelief. One would expect the highest possible quality of application from such an applicant. Instead, what we have is arguably the most ramshackle, ill-conceived, ham-fisted, botched-up application ever to come before a planning committee. Is it serious? It invites derision, not respect. I do not make these assertions and then let them go. I will take you to what I regard as evidence of this total inadequacy. How do you deal with it? You have to throw it out, because in no way can you rationally disagree with the recommendations.
Listen to what your direction, if you so wish, with very considerable interest. Nonetheless, I wonder whether we need to prolong the debate very much further.
Recently, I was a member of Mid and West Wales Fire and Rescue Authority, and I've visited the depot in Newtown on many occasions, and it worries me quite considerably that the largest machine that we have on site at Newtown would have one hell of a job to negotiate the routes that are down in this report to get to the site. And can I advise that all that one has to do is to listen or watch television within the last couple of months and look at the devastation that forest fires have had on areas of America and Australia that have devastated whole areas of residential areas. And it is my opinion that if we did have a fire that came from any of these units, whichever way it occurred, I just wonder how long it would take any of our fire engines and staff to get to the sites.
One must remember that it's for 11 turbines, more than twice the height of the turbines in Carno at the present time. And we looked across the moor to those turbines, and one can imagine the size of those. The visual effect on the area will be significant, especially in Sourglen, where 3 of them will be very visible to the area there, the conservation area of that little village, which is very special to the area. There'll be great difficulty in transporting parts to the site, there's no question about that. The road infrastructure, the minor roads, etc., are not easy to negotiate, with hairpin bends on every one of those roads leading to that site. The effect on tourism has been mentioned and would be dramatic. The unknown method of taking the energy to the national grid, we've no idea as yet. I mean, that has been a delayed project. We should have known where the hub will be. Will it be in Kevencoch? Will it be in Abermule? We don't know how the power will be taken from this site. Will it be on posts, wooden posts, or will it be on steel turbine? We're not quite sure.
To be told today that the reasons of refusal are landscape impact, visual impact, ecology and habitat, historic environment, noise, public rights of way, and highway infrastructure and safety. It's just they have not done their homework. And this application should be refused. And if it hadn't been seconded by Gwilym, I would have certainly been seconded as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
The report itself, I think, is very thorough. I'm really grateful to the officer and the rest of the team who were involved in putting together a report which answered so many of the questions that I was asking myself as I was going through. So thank you very much indeed for that. I'm really grateful too for the contributions of the public speakers who have added to the report that we had.
The issues raised in that letter about the actual composite materials in turbine blades and other issues relating to toxic effects are really beyond the remit of the local planning authority. It is the Health and Safety Executive, Environment Agency and others who really would have a remit there. And until the government came out and said that wind farms are dangerous for those reasons, we as the local planning authority really can't. I would counsel against using that as a reason for refusal.
My concern is over the size. Some of them are about twice the size of other blades that we have seen in applications before. So much technology is getting things smaller, like the computer, like the mobile phone, they're all going smaller. But here we have things getting bigger. I dare say they would say it's for efficiency's sake. But what concerns me is that my science means that something that is bigger needs a wider base, needs a deeper cutting out of the hillside to get it to stand up and not be knocked over at times of storm.
As you will see on page 51 of your report, officer's recommendation is for refusal for the reasons clearly stated there. That has been moved and duly seconded. So those who would wish to vote now in line with officer's recommendation of refusal, please show. That is unanimous. Therefore, that application is duly refused.
I was delighted to be asked this morning to come and say a few words on the planning
meeting reference Waengarno application. The outcome being successful, that refusal has been passed unanimously by Powys County Council is excellent news. It's a common sense conclusion, and I'm sure that all the people in Treveglas and Llanrindod and the community of the Trannon Valley will be delighted with this outcome.
We've been fighting this proposition for nearly 4 years, and I'm delighted to have been present today and allowed to speak on behalf of Stag against this proposal. Even more delighted that it has been refused. Battles lie ahead. This is not the last wind farm application in Powys, and they all have to be opposed as hard as we can.
I'm Jonathan Wilkinson, Chairman of MAP, that's Montgomeryshire Against Pylons. I'm here to listen to the planning application today for the Waengarno Windfarm.
Okay, can you tell me, what did you think of the outcome today?
Very pleased with the outcome. It was a unanimous rejection of what was really a very shoddy planning application by a wind farm developer that really should have known better. And one wonders at the motives behind the application, because it surely couldn't have been to be successful.
This machine will have eyes, ears, and a voice.